Who would you like to pose the same question to, Bruce O'Donoghue, about whether or not they might support these drastic cuts to these entitlement programs and what sacrifices they would ask all Americans to make to right the fiscal ship?
Well, I'm going to go with my fellow Irishman, Kurt Kelly, for this next one.
1 minute, Kurt Kelly.
And I love you, Bruce. Thank you. Our founding fathers, when they gave us the Constitution, they understood that they had a limited government. They never expected the federal government to be this size. They never thought that it would go and get into these areas. They never saw that it was role of the federal government to take care of every little boo-boo that takes place in America. And quite frankly, we need to put everything on the table. There are over 1,000 agencies, bureaucracies, and departments in Washington, D.C. Even Obama said, hey, there might be some redundancy there. The reality is we need to take a hard look, and we can go in. We should have a numerical goal of cutting 1/3 of them. And what you have to do that is you have to have a balanced budget, and we can do that. We can replace with this egregious tax code we have with the fair tax.
My next question now to Todd Long. The focus is jobs. The national unemployment rate hovers just below 10%. Florida's rate, as we know, is higher. What is your plan to create jobs in Central Florida and nationwide?
Everybody knows, most of you all know, I'm a big champion of the fair tax. I've been endorsed by Tom Wright, the former National Executive Director of the fair tax. We've taught it, we fight for it. And listen, people create wealth, governments don't create wealth. Right now we have a 60,000-page tax code designed for career politicians to use a tax code for campaign contributions and special interests. If you got rid of this tax code and went to the fair tax, not only would you tell the rest of the world this is going to be the best place in the world to make products and services. We just can't be a consumption nation. We're penalizing people for investing, for saving, for creating jobs. It's absolutely insane. We got 35 million people right now, 65 and over. In 30 years, it's going to be 70 million. We've already bankrupted Medicare, Social Security, our children, a $13 trillion national debt. We have to make products and services and compete with the rest of the world, and this tax code isn't designed to do it. It's set up for career politicians. Why you want to penalize wealth creation at this point is unconscionable to me. Why do we want 12 million illegal immigrants not to pay any taxes? Why do we want the criminal underground economy not to pay any taxes? That's insanity. Small business is getting killed. We got to make products and services. And I'm the only one fighting for the fair tax. And let me say this, when it comes to priorities in this nation, balancing budgets is extremely important. It's suicidal what we're doing. But if we don't start creating wealth and making products and compete with China and other nations, there's going to be a lot of hurting seniors in this nation. This next generation is going to have no chance. So if your priorities in Congress are to worry about the millions of abortions, which Dan mentioned, it's a tragedy. But the job that we're going for is to be not the worst money managers in human history and to destroy a very independent, great nation and take it down to a dependent nation, dependent on China, hoping we can borrow money. We better let Americans bring out the best in Americans, and that's the fair tax, which says we're all the same, we're all taxed the same. It's your money, people. Go create wealth, and we'll create the greatest nation once again and be able to take care of our veterans and the military and our seniors with the great wealth we created.
Thank you, Todd Long. Now, pick out one of your primary opponents on the dais and pose the same question. Their plan to create jobs in Central Florida and nationwide. Your selection.
Another fair tax fan, Dan Finelli.
1 minute.
Thank you, Todd. Okay, I also am a fair tax person. In fact, before Todd ran for office, I met with him, and I strongly endorse the fair tax. It's on my website. We need to utilize its benefit to get our economy going. Not only will it make a less complication, instead of having that tedious income tax form for all the businesses and the people, it's going to be consumption-based. When a new product is paid for at the counter, that's when the approximately 23% is taken out at that time. Imagine all of the jobs that are going to come back into the country because all the businesses that have been taxed out of our country are going to be coming right back here to the best country in the USA for business, right? In addition to that, our energy policy is terrible. I can't believe it. Common sense tells you we have more incredible energy here in this nation with oil, natural gas, coal. We've got to utilize that, bring the jobs back home.
Time's up. Thank you. Thank you, Dan Finelli. My next question is for Kurt Kelly. Healthcare. Polls continue to show President Obama's health care reform law is unpopular with the American people. Should Obamacare be repealed, revised, or replaced? And if you want to replace it, what would you replace it with?
I want you to go back that Sunday night, after all that debate. I want you to go back in your mind's eye for a second and remember when they used all of those tactics, all those political games that they played to take an extraordinarily unpopular and incredibly expensive, we will not be able to afford this, and they shoved it down our throats. And I sat there and literally outraged and somewhat in tears because we moved away from what our founding fathers wanted us. They wanted a representative form of government. They didn't want a king, whether he's named Obama or not. They didn't want him making all of these decisions and somebody just following him. The answer is absolutely repeal Obamacare. Absolutely repeal it. You want to know one of the first things I'm going to do? I made a commitment. I will go up there and work to repeal Obamacare. And then what we will replace it with, exactly what our founders wanted. And that is to let the free market work. You know what they did? They didn't even address the opportunities of buying across state lines. They didn't even address being able to have their own small business experiences and pool their experiences. And they didn't even address tort reform. Of course they're not going to address tort reform. Alan Grayson's a liberal trial attorney. Of course he's not going to address tort reform. They didn't even try to look at Medicare and Medicaid fraud. No, they just shoved this down our throats. Ladies and gentlemen, we must. I'll tell you, come January, when all the stuff starts rolling in, you're going to start hearing an outrage like you've never seen. The people will mourn. And I will tell you, we need to make sure that we get up there, repeal it, and replace it.
All right, Kurt Kelly, you have an opportunity now to select another candidate here and ask them whether Obamacare should be repealed, revised, or replaced. And if they want to replace it, what would they replace it with?
Let me address this one to my good friend, Patricia Sullivan.
Thank you very much. Well, a government healthcare takeover where Congress and their aides are exempt to what we have to go through. Section 440 of the bill states that government can go in and do parenting classes in your home. I wonder what they're going to teach. There's so much in this bill that we don't know about. We had to pass it before we found out what was in it. It is my intention to completely repeal this entire takeover of our health care. But then what do we need to do? Because we have a society that doesn't understand our Constitution, that doesn't understand the intentions of our founding fathers. And education is a passion for me. We cannot mandate that we purchase a product. But there are folks that have no idea that our Constitution gives us the freedom from government intrusion, forcing us a product that we would be fined or put in jail if we don't purchase.
Thank you. Thank you, Patricia Sullivan. You get 1 minute for the responses on those.